Hi, welcome to Teotela's Unstandardized podcast. We keep hearing perspectives about SAT APs from different sources. Today, we have someone from the College Board. We have Meenakshi Kachroo, who has been pivotal in shaping up the landscape of standardized test domain in India, Central Asia, and South Asia. So, if you're a student, a parent, or an educator, this conversation will help you understand what's coming up in the next 1 year in SAT and APs. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for taking time out to join us. So, how does it feel to work with College Board? What is it like?
College Board is a wonderful organization to work with. Very passionate about education. Very passionate about giving access to the students, to gaining them with knowledge, to giving them a lot of platform and space where they can do international exams. They can go in for courses like advanced placement programs and then stand out in college applications. So for us, it's important that even if it's a student in the remotest part of the world, they get a proper access to international education.
Lovely. So I'll get on with the questions. So the SAT is widely known as a standardized test for college admissions. But from a university's perspective, what does an ACT score truly reveal about a student's academic potential and
Yeah.
success?
Sure. So it's a great question to start with, and I'll begin with mentioning that there are certain components that a university admission officer always looks at, and SAT cannot be taken as a standalone when we call it an SAT score. It has to be taken in the entire context. So we call it as a holistic admission process
Right.
that the university admission officer looks at. So the first one coming to academic accomplishments. So when they look at academic accomplishments, they look at your school grades, of course, and then they also look at standardized tests like the SAT, then the English language tests as well. And I've seen many students who have taken a survey with us in the past. They have shown us that their SAT score was sometimes absolutely same as their GPA of the school, or sometimes even better than that. So that makes them, improve upon their grades, show to the university that it's not just the school grades. This is also what I've done. And I can be good at the reading, writing, and math, which is basically the core requirement of a university. That a student, once they come to our university, they should be able to comprehend what is being taught. So these are the basic skill sets. Then the university also looks at the environmental context, the curriculum rigor, the personal qualities of a student. So all this coming together makes up a holistic admission process for them, and they select the student.
And SAT perhaps makes it more quantifiable.
Of course, yes. It is more quantifiable. And also, there are grade variants, there are curriculum, which is different for different countries. So if I look at India, South and Central Asian region, which is my region that I take care of, then every country has its own curriculum. Every country has a rigor. And a student in India in a DPS or a Pathways or a Sri Ram having a 95 percentile may not be the same, maybe the same or maybe better than students in other parts of my own region. So how would an admission officer, even from this small region, say that, okay, a student in India is same for a 95 percentile as in Kazakhstan or as in Africa? So that's
Absolutely.
where standardized test score
Standardized
comes
test,
in.
exactly. So while the SAT became optional during the pandemic due to logistical challenges, many colleges had already adopted test optional, policies even earlier than the COVID, the pandemic. So now 5 years later. How critical is the SAT for international applicants in today's admission landscape?
So when universities went test optional, it was a challenge. It was a challenge for everyone. Even the students were confused as to what to do. The universities were also having a challenge. But now, post COVID, I think people have understood that SAT is there, and universities have reinstated the SAT. Now, why have they done that? Universities like MIT, Caltech, George Brown, Harvard, Stanford, Dartmouth, they all have reinstated the SAT because they
Right.
found it very challenging to accept the students without the score. And also because for universities, they see SAT, like I said, not just as a score, but as a wholesome process. And for them, SAT score also means that the student would, get good academic accomplishments while studying in their university. So it's not just
Right.
the entry point. They do their own research. And universities like Harvard and MIT, I think, have also given out articles on why have they reinstated SAT, where they
Right.
have mentioned that their own research has cited that a student who comes with a SAT score versus a student who has not come with an SAT score has shown them a lot of differences in the academic scores while studying in the university and also while studying the complete full course in the university. So they always would prefer a student with an SAT score.
So if someone has an SAT score and someone doesn't, and they both have similar academic backgrounds, similar grades, so the one with an ACT score has an advantage.
Um, That's a very tricky question. So, I mean, a university rep would be the best possible person to reply to this. But I would say a university that is accepting the SAT score. And if you have two applications which have absolutely the same credentials, then of course, SAT score would be advantageous for the person. And also, especially for those students who have come from schools or unknown backgrounds or from unknown school where students rarely go to Ivy League institutes, where students rarely go to other countries for studying. For those particular students and those demographies, I think SAT score is really helpful.
There's also been a debate around how many times a student should attempt the SAT.
Yeah.
While there's no universal rule that we all understand as educationists, what's your recommendation on the optimal number of attempts a student should, go for?
So SAT is administered 8 times a year. And of course, it's our our exam. So I will not say that student has to give it 8 times a year. Many students have asked us the same question as to how many times a year should we give the SAT. So it all depends upon what your ambition is, first of all. And then you could give it maybe twice or maximum thrice. Even if it's our exam, I would not say a student has to give it more than that because more than that is unnecessary. Once you can give it and you can see what the score is, if you have achieved your dream score and if you achieved the score that is required for scholarships or admissions, then maybe not. But if not, then yes, go for it the second time and max to max. I would say 3 times, but it's a personal choice again.
Understood. Let's also shift to another important credential, the advanced placements, the APs. So over the last few years, there's been a noticeable rise in AP participation globally. So could you share the countries that are recognizing APs for university admissions or placement or credit?
Sure. So both SAT and AP have risen globally in the last few years. And besides the US, where most of the colleges accept both, I mean, even if I include the test optional, they accept the SAT and AP. Almost all of them do. And around 70 countries also accept the SAT.
Okay, so for students considering APs, how many subjects? Again, it's a very subjective thing, but as per you, how many subjects should ideally one take in a year, or over a period of 2-3 years, or whatever time frame? And at what stage in school do you recommend they begin exploring APs?
See, Sringa, there are 40 plus subjects now. And we're coming up with new courses also. Students get, when they see the AP list, they get very fascinated, even the counselors and the school teachers also. It also depends upon which curriculum is the student in. So for us, students come from CBSE in India. They come from ICSE also. They come from state boards. But we've also seen students coming in from the international curriculum.
Absolutely.
Like IB and
Absolutely.
Cambridge.
Absolutely.
So if the student is already in a rigorous course like IB and Cambridge, I have seen they generally pick up around 2 or 3. CBSE, they pick up more than that also. I've seen students from India picking up to 9 or 10 courses also.
Yes. That's quite a number. I mean,
Yes.
to do in a span of, I don't know, probably 2 years, 3 years. But when can they begin,
So
preparing or exploring at least as
Right.
early as, I don't
They begin from grade 9, although AP or advanced placement courses are for the students who are academically well prepared. It's a rigorous course, and you
Yeah.
would know
Yeah.
more than me.
Yeah, it is.
So we generally tell students that they can after, and with grade 10 boards and all, let them concentrate on the board examinations, and they either do it in grade 9 with free calculus. Maybe that could be a good point when they can start with.
That's a very good paper.
They could also do AP seminar. If I really think about Indian students, they could do AP seminar again in grade 9 or grade 10, and then they could do in research and coupled with
I haven't, we don't come across AP seminars, really.
So we are encouraging students in India to take up AP seminar. There are schools who are teaching AP seminar now. So we have schools, if not in Delhi NCR, but in other parts of the country where student can go and take a test for AP seminar.
Oh, I wasn't.
So if a student does AP seminar and then coupled with 4 AP exams and an AP research also, a student gets AP capstone diploma.
Right.
So that's kind of a curriculum that Canadian institutions really look forward to, because that shows a student has not just taken an exam for a score, but wants to really academically prove that they are good and they are consistent in their studies. And seriously, personally, I feel that a student should do 3 to 4 exams. That is more than that, unless they are doing this AP capstone diploma. But otherwise, 4 exams for AP should be fine.
Should be sufficient. So another thing we often see is student preparing for, again, it's a very subjective thing. I mean, you have to understand the caliber of the student and what the aspirations are. Like you said, we often see students attempting to prepare for multiple AP examinations within a limited time frame. While prep time, like I said, can vary from individual to individual. In your opinion, what should be a reasonable and manageable preparation timeline for a student planning for, like you said, 3 or 4 APs in a year, or how should it be spread over 2-3 years?
Okay, so first of all, AP should not be considered just as an exam. Of course, the end result is you go and take an exam and you get a score for it. But AP is a curriculum, like you have all the other curriculums like CBSE and IB or other curriculums. So it's not just a SAT exam or any other Olympiad. It is a curriculum for which you are giving an exam. So it should be taken with a timeline. You should have a good amount of preparation. And if you're taking about 2 AP exams in 1 year or 3 AP exams in 1 year, that requires total 1 year preparation is what I would say.
Understood.
It requires a lot of
that's a very valuable piece of insight, and I often see that students fail to understand the kind of time commitment AP requires. Thank you so much for
and
that.
also I would say that all the exams should not be taken in single year, because if they are planning to take up AP exams and if they want to plan their college applications early, then yes, 9 to 12 is a time frame when they can take and then they can see which exam to be taken at which stage.
Certain APs can probably be taken early because you don't really require any prerequisites, but there are certain more challenging APs which requires certain understanding of the basics which are taught later in the school.
True. Like calculus.
Yes, calculus or the physics, say mechanics or electricity and magnetism. Yeah. And are there any AP courses, new AP courses that you plan to introduce this year? And if so, what kind of students or academic interests are these designed to support?
Yes, we do plan to introduce a couple of new AP courses, and that would come in the AP Career Kickstart level. So it will be very fascinating for students to learn these courses, because these courses would end up not in just giving them credits or advanced placement, but we'll also get employer endorsements in these.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so we launched them in fall. But keep tuned to the College Board website, and you will get details about it. And these are fascinating courses for the students to lean into.
Okay, so there's another it's a little generic, but then, if someone could answer that, that would be you. What changes can we anticipate in the SAT and APs over the coming year?
So the AP, like I said, just mentioned in the fall, we have these new courses coming up, the Career Kickstart courses. And now we just recently launched AP into the digital and the hybrid mode. So we want to settle on that. We will take some time as to how does this go. Once the hybrid is all settled, maybe that transitions to digital, but that is not very soon. So for now, we will settle down for having these digital exams fully operational and without any flaw, and same with the hybrid. And then
That has how the SAT digital exam has always been. It has been pretty flawless, and we have students. The kind of experience they share with us, it has been flawless, and thank you so much for that.
So the basic fundamental and rule of College Board is to help the students wherever we can and to ease their problems. So that's the reason the administrations increase. Earlier it was 6, then 7, then 8 this year. So we'll keep on having these innovations, and whenever we have this, I mean, we'll be loud and clear, and everybody would know. But for now, we are settled for these administrations for this year.
Great. So another question: would APs be conducted only once a year, or how is it? How do we expect some more attempts for international students?
So as of now, APs are conducted once a year only, which is May, and they'll be conducted in May 2026. We are in consultation with some schools for certain pilots in a different time of the year also, to see and accommodate more students who are unable to give the exams. And
That's great. That's great.
yeah, but that might be coming soon too.
Sure. So we already, for the audience that we have out here, we already know that the SAT is almost a requirement if you are considering US for your undergraduate studies. But which other countries also accept ACT for college admissions?
So
Widely accept,
So outside the US, more than 70 countries are accepting the SAT.
including India.
Including-
Of course. And finally, for the students across the world aspiring to study abroad, for aspiring to study in the top universities, considering the SAT and APs as their part of the journey, what message would you like to share with them today?
Well, I would only suggest the students that consistency and hard work always plays, and international education is a place to be in, whether it's for a semester or whether it's for the entire 4 years of your graduation. But play well, work hard, and go in for your dream college, dream university.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. This is a lovely session and insightful, and this is going to answer so many questions that, a lot of basic questions. We kept it very simple. That's what the idea was. And this is going to communicate so many data and information to our, to the students who aspire
Lovely being
to.
here, and good luck to all your students, and good luck to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meenakshi.
Thank you.